You finally found the tool that makes the financials easy to explain. The dashboard is clean. It looks solid. This is the meeting you walked into feeling ready. Then comes the question, how does the loan actually get paid down? That's the moment you realize your new dashboard was almost helpful.
Jeff got here early. What's up, Tyler?
Hello.
Hello. Let's see. Make the co-host. Jeff got here early.
Made it.
What's up, Karen? All right. We got Kathleen. Scott. Scott's here. What's going on, Scott? All right. So I'm doing these every week, so the crowd's a little smaller, but this is cool. This is great. So Karen, what brought you here? What's going on in your world?
Trying to learn as much as I can about all of this
Yeah.
funding and everything else. So
All right. So what? Yeah, I can hear you. So what does that mean? You're trying to learn as much as about funding or about what's your job? What do you do?
small business advisor.
Oh, got it. With one of the SBDCs.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, great. Which one?
Dallas.
Oh, Dallas. Hey, you're right up the road. I say right up the road, but it's like 4.5 hours away, right? So it's
Where are you?
I'm down San Antonio.
Oh, San Antonio. Okay. Yeah. Okay.
It's like 4.5 hours or so, I think.
Mm-hmm.
But I went to school closer to you. I mean, I went to school at Baylor, so that's what, an hour away, hour and a half. So,
Waco.
yeah, Waco. So good. All right, Scott's on the road, so he's in listening mode. Tyler, you popped on. What brought you here today? I want to make sure that I cover the things.
Yeah, hello. I'm the director of the SBDC at UT Permian Basin. So we're out here in Midland, Odessa. And anything that we can do to help our clients with cash flow is huge out here, and I think most everywhere. But the industries that dominate out here, cash flow is consistently an issue.
Got it. Got it.
And I had to leave early, but I went to one of your workshops at the conference in Orlando.
Yeah.
And I really enjoyed it, so I wanted to get more.
Very cool. So yeah, so I saw your movie Friday Night Lights, and then I'm also watching your other TV show, Landman. That's good. All right, Kathleen, what about you? What's going on in your world?
Kind of the same thing. I'm here in the same office with Tyler.
Oh, got it.
Permian Basin, Midland, Texas, yay, West Texas, woohoo.
Yeah.
And basically for me, I'm just kind of on here. I'd like to learn more about the program, about, I've kind of gone through and looked at it, looked online and kind of did a little research. Didn't get the chance while we were at conference in Florida to go to the your lectures, but just like to learn more.
Yeah. So, okay. So what you see online, here's something really interesting. We're in a gray area because we're updating the website in the background to improve the messaging to what this is. Because I've been doing it 3 years, and you know how kind of you evolve. And so I've evolved into a kind of a complete membership package, right? And the reason I say that is, yeah, I've got this app that's super cool. But what happens with financial or small business advising is it goes in all kinds of different directions, right? And you can never really find the tool that kind of helps with every situation. It just kind of stops suddenly. You're like, oh, I'm cranking along. I'm using this product. I'm using this spreadsheet. And what do I do next? And so that's what I'm trying to do is help people understand what to do next. And my whole campaign for the year and the whole theme is, to avoid the almost helpful product. Meaning it was great until it wasn't. But here's what I had to do to get there. I had to teach people kind of techniques on how to talk to, not only talk to people the way they need to be talked to because they're not as financially sophisticated as you are. I had to teach it kind of the techniques that I used as a business owner and what I teach bankers, because it's different than what I teach accountants, right? Or what accountants learn. So there's kind of some things that are good crossover, but there's some things that are new or different. And so with that, I also figured out that it's not a quick learn. It's not watch a YouTube video and now I'm an expert at it. This is something you have to practice and you have to, get some coaching yourself. So I'm trying something different than most other companies, meaning I'm not just throwing you in a software program and saying, hey, there you go. Hey, good luck, right? This should do everything you want. I'm providing you with a video course library, right, to teach you. And when you see a chart, you go, what does it mean by that? And you can just go learn the math behind it. So I'm being transparent with what's going on with the product. And then I also do 3 times a week live coaching, right? Meaning that the coaching is for, hey, Mike, I've got this client I'm talking to Friday and I'm stuck, or I'm seeing this, or how should I approach that? So that's what those 3 live sessions are. That I don't know any other coach does. Just says, hey, we're going to have office hours like a professor. When you need help, I'm there for you, right? And we come up with a plan. And I think a lot of people are starting to use it that way. When people don't come with real life situations to the lives, I teach, right? Or I demo new things that I've done. We are in an interesting spot with the app because I've had an app for the last 3 years, and I'm not sunsetting that. I'm just kind of setting it to the side because I built one that's AI kind of supported, right? So there's a second version, and today the live demo is about the second version, the one that I think solves the problem of being almost helpful, right? So that's where we're at. Everybody okay with that? I'm just going to spend a lot of this time just showing you some of the things that are in the app and some of the things you can do. All right, cool. Of course, I clicked right on the wrong thing right off the bat. So let me get to here. I don't want, that was not good. I had to book a meeting with Veterans Affairs today, so
Fun.
those are always fun, right?
Uh-huh.
Have you been through that process?
Working with Veterans Affairs, yes.
Yeah, okay.
And it is a long pain in the butt process.
Got it. Well, I had to book a meeting, so I'm going to talk to them in a couple weeks.
Woohoo.
See what they can do. Okay, so this is the new product. I call it the Clear Path to Cash, right? And have you guys seen any of my books, like Don't Be a Dumb Business Owner? Okay, so, and dumb doesn't mean unintelligent. It means I don't understand my business. That one specifically is 8 techniques on maximizing cash in any business, right? So it reads like a hillbilly math book or math textbook, right? Because that's the way I talk. That's the way that's the way I teach. But it's not the Great Gatsby. The reason I'm telling you that is that it is the techniques that I built into this app. All right, so when you get on, right, it's just all your clients, and every advisor in the SBDC office will have a different view, right? But you can also share clients, like going, if I want to share this client with, Kathleen, I can just add you to it and it will show up on your dashboard. So you'll have just your clients, or you can have ones that you're sharing, within the office or wherever else, right? So that's one way to do. With this, I've got some standalone tools. And the reason I got standalone tools is because sometimes you don't have to just set up a complete company file for somebody. You're just trying to do something pretty quick to get them going in the right direction. And one of the things I have is this quick assessment. Now, for accountants and for people that sell their services, this is a great sales tool. Because most of the people that come into like my office or into an accountant's office, and maybe the SBDC, and does a little bit of work with the SBDC too. So he kind of has experience with this, but sometimes they just need a quick little answer, right? They don't need a complete blown out thing, but this can turn them into one of those longer term engagements. And what do you guys call it? Is that 5 meetings? Is that when are they considered long term? Is it 5? I can't remember. Yeah.
5 hours.
Is it 5 hours? Yeah. Isn't that one of the metrics of the SBDC is how many long-term clients? Yeah. Okay. So this is kind of one of those ways to kind of keep them sticky, right? If that's one of your metrics. So what I do is I teach a conversation style. The book I wrote last year, it's called Don't Tell Me What to Do. You guys see a theme, right? Don't be a dumb business owner. Don't tell me what to do. Tell means terminate every long lecture, right? Stop lecturing to people and actually have a conversation. And that's what it is. It's a combination of what I learned from talking to people as a state trooper and from what I learned from watching the show Hoarders. So so if you want to see what a baby looks like between a police officer and a hoarder, read that book. Because that's basically what that is a conversation style that gets people to take action, right? That's basically what we're trying to do, and be committed to the action, not compliant just because they were told to do it. So when that comes in, I'm usually looking for one of 6 burning issues. I can pretty much put any business problem into 6 buckets, right? And the buckets are cash flow, profitability, debt, the future, operations type problems, or education. I just don't know anything. I need to learn more. So I can usually, just by talking to people, kind of flush that out. And inside this app, there's an AI tool that helps you flush it out by recording, your conversation with your client. And it says, oh, they actually have this problem, so you don't miss it, right? So it kind of guides you towards a problem that you can solve. But the quick assessment is how I get people interested, right? So I'll click on that, and it's kind of a business calculator. There's a complete industry average database in here, so I can kind of compare people to it pretty quickly. And it's a dynamic industry database, which means that it updates constantly. It isn't one that's like a year old or 2 years old, those type of things. So what you do is you just basically, type in a name just to get started, because you can convert this to a client pretty easily, and then find an industry. What's an industry you guys like? Yep, construction. Okay. Good one. So I start typing a word and there's construction, right? We'll call it, I don't know what sand and gravel mining is. We'll do that. You guys should have said oil, or where you guys are from. Or you call it oil or you call it oil? Tyler, which one is it? Yeah. Okay.
Oil.
Yeah.
The sand and gravel mining for oil, so out there in West Texas.
Yeah, there you go. Okay, so I'm just going to leave it. It doesn't matter. I'm just going to show you the result. When I'm talking to clients, say, hey, listen, I can do this a couple different ways. If you don't feel comfortable sharing information with me, I've got some sample data so you can see what I'm going to do. But some people will just say, hey, I'll tell you some numbers, right? And you can just type in these 10 numbers. These 10 numbers give you a quick look into what the biggest problems are in the business. Not only that, I can do a quick valuation of a company too. So the numbers that are loaded are a little bit bigger than maybe an SBDC client. Do you want to type in some numbers, me to type in some numbers, or do you want to just load it with sample data? It doesn't matter. It's just extra zeros. Right, we'll just load it with some sample data. What I normally find is that when I say, hey, you can just make them up or get close. They'll tell me some numbers, and as soon as they see the result, they'll go, oh, can I use my real numbers now? They want to see exactly what it is. So you just type in 10 numbers, and I say, analyze my business, and boom. I mean, right off the bat, I know that there's $1.7 million leaking out of this business, or you can call it $17,000. It doesn't matter. It's money that's leaking just based on the way they run it. Now, what this is the technique that I call mining your business for hidden cash, right? So, and what mining your business for hidden cash does is it looks at a business from 2 different angles, right? Vertically and horizontally at the same time. You're like, well, how do you do that? Well, most people look at ratios in silos, right? This ratio is this ratio is that. I don't think it works that way, because a business is interconnected. There's cause and effect. So these are 6 ratios that tend to work together all the time. 3 of them are cash generating activities. That's what I call the vertical analysis, starting with sales, and we keep subtracting things out until we get the profit. And then cash conversion activities. How long does it take for money to move through a company, right? That's the horizontal piece, is time. So what I do is I create a chart that I call the cash leak map. And because we put in the industry average, average is 0. If I'm at average, I should be like everybody else. All these lines should be 0. If it's green and above the line, that means I'm better than the industry. If it's red and below the line, that means I'm worse. Make sense? So I'm talking to a client. I go, hey, got your business up. There's one, if it feels like you're struggling with cash, if it feels like it doesn't work right, that's why you're leaking about 1.7 million. Now, let me tell you a little bit about your business. And you see how I got there, and I can get there in 5 minutes, in the first 5 minutes of a conversation. And I say, hey, listen, right now, sales isn't your problem, right? What this is telling me, this is the sales to asset ratio. And this is saying that everybody else has stuff. You have stuff, they have stuff. And this is how much revenue is generated using your stuff, your trucks, your buildings, those type of things. That's how much revenue is. And you're doing better. So for what you have, you're doing better than others. Here's what I would caution you against, though, because you're doing so much better than everyone else with about the same amount of equipment, you might start to hit a capacity, which means you won't be able to grow until you buy another truck. So we'll start to look at funding on things like, hey, let's start planning for the next purchase, right? And making sure we're lining you up properly for a loan. So that's one of the indicators I look for. But it's not one of your problems today. So I'm just going to turn it off. And I go over here and I turn it off and then adjust it, because what I'm trying to do in all my charts is focus somebody to the biggest problems, right? So I can say, hey, listen, gross profit, you're actually doing well in how you price your goods, right? Or your services. You're doing well. Keep that up. Let's put a pin in that. Just don't change your pricing just yet. And I turn that off. Over here, AP, I like the way you're paying your bills. Not too slow, not too fast, just about just right, right? So if you get in trouble, you can always sit on an invoice for an extra week or two until cash kind of catches up. So, but right now, whatever methodology you're using, keep doing that. So then I turn off AP. Now, here's where all the money's leaking out of your business, right? We have an operating expense problem, which means we're spending a little too much. How much? $250,000 more than you need to. And why do I say that? Because everybody else is spending that much less, right? Remember, I'm comparing you against the industry, and they're spending a little less than you are. AR, which means we need to look at how you invoice and how you collect, right? Because you're slower than everybody else. And it could be that they're taking in deposits and you're not. It could be that they have an automatic reminder system and you don't. It could be that they're invoicing better than you are, right? So we want to look at the operations, the process, and make sure that everything that we have is dialed in to improve this goal. Because there's a lot of money sitting in your AR that probably should be in your bank account. And then lastly is inventory, right? So some people will say, oh, I think you got too much inventory. I'm going to say you got too much inventory. How much? $656,000 too much, right? So, and I've got this tool called the Inventory Master that tells us and calculates a par level, which means how much should you have just to keep up with sales. It calculates that for you and it tells you which ones to run down. So we're going to put $600,000 back into your pocket by doing nothing. You're like, what do you mean doing nothing? I just don't want you to buy any more stuff in certain categories. When you see that, because usually what people do is they sell 5 and they buy 5. It might be in ceramic capacitors. You don't need to run any until you sell 25, right? You don't need to, order any. So we're going to tell you exactly what those are. So right now, these are your 3 biggest problems. If we were working together, I would say, which one do you want to start with? If we're not working together and I want to say, hey, would you like my help with this? That's my sales pitch. That's how I sell consulting. My fee is blah. Your fee is free. Would you like my help? They're going to say, yeah, because I can help you put $1.7 million back in your pocket. Then I go down and say, okay, this is where your biggest problems are: AR, inventory, operating expense. But let me show you what happens when we fix this, right? Not only will we put $1 million in your pocket, but we're going to improve the value of your company. Right now, just kind of an average, we're looking at about $7 million of the value of your company. But once we fix this, it will improve the value of your company by almost $1 million, right? So you're going to get it 2 ways from me. You're going to get cash in your pocket. And then when you sell this company later on, whenever you want, we know that the value has went up. So again, would you like my help? And you see that? I mean, we're there. We're at that point in 10 minutes into the conversation, right? And it's that simple with 10 numbers. So that's just one that I can do. I can convert this to a client and it creates a company file, right? That's basically what that does. All the work we just did goes into the company file already, so you don't lose it. But that's just one of the tools I got for helping people. Now, let's say we created a company file. I'm going to use the demo company, right? Because I know it has all the stuff filled out. So if I use the demo company, the first thing you see is kind of an overview. It tells you, you know, what the score is, and I teach people how I score, right? How do I score a company? I'm upfront with all my calculations. You can follow it so you know where the numbers are coming from, right? And the whole methodology. Now, this score is not like getting an A, B, C, or D in business. This is a risk score. The farther you are from an A, the more risk in the company, right? And you're like, well, where's the risk at? Well, there's 4 major categories in a company that risk manifests itself. Access to cash, how you use your stuff to make money, how much debt do you carry, and do you make profit, right? Now, if you notice, these are words that you know are just listed differently. That's liquidity. That's solvency, right? Leverage. I don't use those type of words with regular business owners because they don't get them. So, but they can understand access to cash, which we know when I look at it, I just click on it. It's current ratio, it's quick ratio, it's days cash on hand, it's how much you pay yourself, right? That's what you're good at. So I know instantly, I ain't got to worry about the quick current ratio to quick ratio up cash on hand. That's where we need to focus because we got an F there, right? So I'm telling you exactly where the problem is and then what to do next. Remember how I said some things are almost helpful? This always gives you the what to do next. There's a guided mode here or a power mode. A power mode just lets you free roam everywhere that you want. But on the guided mode, I give you this. It's a path. Do this next. You click on it, explore the tools to address the issue. And when I do that, I'm going to give you, this company has a cash flow problem. What tool should I use? Well, here's some recommended ones for you. Or I can just say, what should I use? I'm trying to improve cash flow. It's bad. I got to do it right now. Yeah, we got everything we need. It says use the fast money formula, right? So I would go there. Again, you don't have to do it. So we just went over the mining your business for hidden cash. That was a bug. See that bug? That was supposed to go to fast money formula. So the fast money formula is not opening on the right stuff. It's opening on the wrong stuff. There it is. Fast money formula is all about cash conversion cycles, you know, and how to improve it to put more cash into a company, right? So it actually looks at a line of credit if you have it, or it recommends how much you should have on the line of credit. Some people, when they go in to get a loan, they don't know. They go in and talk to the banker and they go, hey, I need a line of credit. And the banker says, well, how much do you need? And they go, how much do you give me? That's the first step in telling the banker you don't know what you're talking about, right? Is if you answer a question that way. So what this does is it takes your financial statement and says, this is how much working capital you have, right? It's current assets minus current liabilities, but you need 579. So there's no shortage. You don't really need a line of credit because you have more than you need. The need comes from the banker's line of credit calculation that says, how much do I need in inventory? How much do I need in payroll dollars to keep up with sales, right? It's all to match your, you know, how much sales come through the business. And what I do is I created a kind of a visual for folks on how this lays out. Inventory sits for a certain number of days, then you sell it, and then you wait to get paid, right? At the same time, you're paying your bills. Well, the difference between you getting paid and you paying your bills is called the financial gap, and your working capital is supposed to cover that gap, right? Keep up with the sales, keep buying inventory, you know, during that gap. Well, if you had too much inventory, the gap changes, right? And all of a sudden now I need additional funding because I've carried too much inventory. And so it will tell me that I need additional funding. Matter of fact, I need $53,000. So I would probably go in and ask for a line of credit of 100,000. Right? Keeping it in round numbers. So that's going to tell you about what this company needs. Or if they don't need it, you can say, hey, you know what? If you just reduce your inventory, you can fix this problem, right? We can fix that problem just by reducing inventory. Or if we collect it a little faster, or if you start collecting too slow, guess what? We work ourselves back into an additional funding need. right, to keep up with it. So that's what I'm doing here is teaching people that they have levers to pull. That's why they're sliders. You know, if I get worse, it goes this way. If I get better, it goes that way, right? And it tells you what the net result is. So that's one of the tools that you have. It's called the fast money formula. Then we've got, you know, the home run financial system is the one that I do at the national conference. It's called the 7-minute conversation. And this is a 7-minute conversation just done for you. When you click on it, you know, it will go to, second there. I hope it will go to it. Why is it acting all squirrely today? I had it all perfect this morning. Been pushing a lot of tools to it. I don't know. No, it's not going to open for me, I guess. Okay, so that's why it's in beta. That's why you don't do live demos with real data. All right, so let's look at the debt optimizer then, because this is something I think you guys probably see a lot, is people that need loans or want loans or have loans on it. And basically what we do is when you do the enter the people's data, which is you just copy and paste. If they have a balance sheet, you copy and paste it. If they have a debt schedule, you just copy and paste it in, right? Or import it from Excel, whichever way you just, or you can add it by typing it in. But if you import it, you're just copying whatever they got it here. The AI parses it and puts it into all those fields, and it fills it out for you so that you have all of these fields connected. Now, why that's important is that it tells you what all the loans are that we have currently, or credit cards, or lines of credit. It gives you a visual of it. And then it can either analyze it, you can let AI analyze this, or you can come up with your own payoff strategies. Like if I say, hey, calculate a strategy based on what we've got. Currently, if we do nothing, it's going to take you 8 years to pay it off at the minimum payment. If we use the snowball, method, we can pay it off about 4 years earlier, or the avalanche method, we can still pay it off about 4 years sooner. And it's going to save you some money, right? That's something you can do, is help people understand how they can pay off their debt and reduce it in the business pretty fast. And it gives you an amortization table and when it's paid off, right? People like to see that, see they're making progress. So, you can actually show them the progress as it happens. The other thing I like is get this AI program recommendations. Because we put in financial data, I have built in a recommendation program that analyzes the financial data and say, hey, this is probably the best next steps for this company when it comes to funding. It says, okay, here's the recommendations. It goes out and analyzes the company, right? They got this much debt already. They got this, that going on. So it analyzes the financial situation. It says, hey, they need an SBA loan. They need a 7A, or they should probably look at refinancing some of the equipment because there's other things out there that they can get cheaper, right? There's some cheaper rates than they have. Or they can, maybe a business line of credit, something different. But it tells you not only the program, why it's relevant to what they're doing right now, what it takes to be eligible, and what you should do or they should do as next steps. So that's one of the things I'm helping the SBDC advisors do, is say, hey, listen, let's just look and see what's recommended for this company to help them out. And if I want to, I can model consolidating loans. I can model refinancing things and see how it affects the debt situation. Questions on that? I've kind of been talking a lot. So I went 30 minutes and didn't give anybody any speaking time. So, all right. All right, so that is the debt optimizer, and this is all connected to the forecasting. So anything that's in here gets automatically loaded into the forecasting as well. Another thing that we talked about was too much inventory. So I've got an inventory master, and where this is cool, and I'll show you something for your clients. Again, I can just import the items. I just take their inventory list, where they buy it from, how much they bought it for, all those type of things, how much they have on, and I just paste it in here from a spreadsheet or whatever they're using. Some folks have it in their POS system. You just download it and paste it in here, right? And it sorts it out and puts it into these fields, right? For the actual thing. And then you can kind of fill them out if they don't have enough money, or not enough money, enough data, you can kind of fill it out for them. But what it does is it creates this table, right? That helps you manage when things are, moving, how much is moved. Like you have too much of these, you got 240, but you only need 60. So I don't want you to order until you have less than 60 of these, right? It's right sizes all of your inventory. So so you can basically help people put cash in their pocket and not get in the same position. If you have 65, how much should you order? 0. If you have 55, how many should you order? 5, right? And it helps them that way. They can just, they can do their inventory count sheets right off of this, upload it, and it keeps the things together. If they make a purchase, you can log in a receipt, scan a receipt in, and it updates the quantities and purchases. I can generate an order sheet for those suppliers that I'm over par on, or I'm sorry, under par on. So it just says, hey, I need 5. It just automatically generates the order sheet. And of course, it keeps history and periods of what you pay for things over time. So you can say, hey, this is rising, and it gives you alerts on what's happening. So that is the inventory. Now, why that's important is once you're managing inventory here, and people say all the time, isn't there inventory systems that do this? Yeah, but some people can't afford them, right? Some of the smaller businesses can't afford things like this. So it's built in for you, and you can give them access, right? To this. They can do the work. You just gave them the access because it's an SBDC tool. So with that, the inventory, all of these things are interconnected. There's 23 tools in here. Now, when you look at this, I don't want you to think, oh my God, that's overwhelming. I want you to think about it like this thing. If you probably open up your phone, there's probably apps on it, right? You don't use every app for every situation. That's the same thing this is. Now, what is helpful that when you're in the guided mode, it's going to tell you what tool to use, right? If you're in the power mode, you just kind of do anything you want to, right? Wherever the conversation takes you. But it's giving you the answer to do this next, or it's telling you, here's the recommendations for this company. Even in the power mode, you should run these, right? All right. So what people are liking right now is I put this in here, this pricing center. This is one of the coolest things I think I've done with AI. Now with AI, I got to tell you to be careful. Don't just go to ChatGPT and throw in financials, because if you don't give it guardrails and be very specific with AI, you're going to come back with nonsense, right? And stuff that you would never tell somebody. So everything I've built in here has very narrow guardrails. It's a combination of what I call MI and AI, right? MI is Mike's intelligence. So it's been trained on my books. It's been trained on my presentations. Jeff trains it with the transcripts sometimes of videos that I've made. So it knows the way that I'm thinking about these problems and helps you think the same way. All right, so here you've got, your top priority items, but the thing that's really cool is that everything you put in the inventory automatically loads into pricing, right? And you can set your markdown strategies and it will tell you, hey, this is overstocked, you should mark it down. But what people are really cool with right now, or that they really like, is this market analysis, right? So this market analysis is going to track prices of your competitors or people around you with just an instant AI search. So this is a sourdough bread, but we'll say maybe I want to do an analysis. And if I do nothing here, it searches nationwide, because you might have some e-commerce people that sell everywhere. But if I'm in the Permian Basin, what's the zip code up there? Anybody?
79701.
70701?
7970.
Oh, 79.
Yep.
All right. And you can change the search results. You're like, oh, there's not another town within 50 miles. We're going to have to go 100 miles out or something like that, because I don't know what's up there, really. You're way too, you're like Oklahoma. So, but just say you can change the search miles, right? And if I say search by locations, it's going to take all the products that we had in our inventory, and I do a search, and it's going to give me some search results, right? And this is kind of cool for people to see, because they know what they price theirs at. They don't really know what's happening around them all the time without doing a big, massive search. You give them a tool that does it in seconds. As long as you have a good SKU number or a good description or where you got it from, it's going out there and trying to find similar items or the same item. If it's weak information, you'll see what happens in the analysis. So there it is. It's went all the way through. It's looking at it. It says, oh, there it is. Okay, on your sourdough, you're charging $10. The market average in your area is $6.42. That's probably why nobody's buying your sourdough bread. It goes between $5 and $7, right? And you're like, going, well, how do you know that? Well, if I just click on one of these sources, it opens up where it got the price from. right? So this is Brookshire's traditional sourdough bread. Is that up there? So I have to ask people, is that something that's up there around you guys? So you can tell what it's doing. It goes right to your neighborhood and compares your prices to others, right? That's basically what I'm trying to do is compare you to others. And you can make adjustments if you want to your pricing, print out the list and say, hey, go to back to the store and reprice these goods. So that's one of the cool things that I like about what we're doing now with this pricing center is being able to give people real intelligence. Now, some people will say, well, what about a wholesale company? How do you get those prices? Guess what? Remember, I'm not baptized in GAAP, so I can do funky things with numbers. Right? So, I mean, I don't have to follow the strictest of rules. So what I do with somebody that's a wholesaler is I look at the typical gross profit margin that they get, right? When meaning in retail or from the wholesaler. What is the gross profit margin that they get? And then I will reverse engineer the retail price to the wholesale price based on that. So the calculation flips and does it backwards, right? So it can compare what you're buying your stuff for to what other people might be charging for it out of the market. That makes sense? So reverse engineer it. And then everything that you do, you can generate an action plan, right? I generate an action plan and it comes up with things that I can do, to improve this. And what's cool about the action plan is this how you hold your clients accountable. They have this action thing here, right? So with actions, you're saying these are the things that you're working on. When you do something, you just move it, right? And it changes and updates. You can do it with a Kanban type board. You can do it with a table view. Some people like table view where they can see all the actions that they got going. And then once you start having results, it tells you, hey, when we completed this, it changed your cash position by $54,000. And every time I ask you to do something, we've only did half of the things so far, but every time you take one of these actions, it increases your cash by $300 or $34,000. So now you're connecting the action to the dollars, right? To the dollars that they actually improved by. And that's how you keep people sticky with consulting, right? That we're actually got something we can see the impact and it measures it for you automatically. Now, some people will go, that's too many actions, right? That's just so much stuff. I don't know where to start. All right, because they might get overwhelmed by this. You say, hey, listen, don't worry about it. Here's what we're going to do. You go back to all tools, and I have this thing called the 30, 60, 90-day action planner. It takes all of the actions that you just created, and you give your client kind of a score. You're like, oh, how much do I think that they can do? Well, they're pretty small. They got limited resources, and it creates a 30, 60, 90-day action plan based on what you think that they can accomplish, right? And which ones? It gives all of your actions out there a priority score. Which one's going to have the biggest impact? Like cash flow. We always want to solve cash. If you got a cash flow problem, got to solve that first, right? But everything has its own priority, and there's a scoring system that sorts and organizes all your actions for you, right? Now you're like going, okay, that's great. I don't want to do all that work. Yeah, you don't have to, right? You don't have to because when you manage the access to this company, I can add you as a client, as somebody else that's in the office, like you guys work in the office. I can add another person to see this, or I'm the subscription owner, right? I'm the person that owns the subscription, so you can do that. So if they're a client, you can say, well, what does this look like if I'm a client? So you can feel confident on what people are seeing. If I say view as a client, what you're going to notice is that it's not 23 tools anymore. It's only the 14 tactical tools, only the stuff that they have to do work in, right? They can't get to any of your advisor tools. They can't get to any of your notes. They can't get to anything like that. They can only get to the things that they have to do the work for. Put the inventory in, do some cost analysis, do a risk assessment. They can do things, right? It's all tactical. You maintain the strategic tools. That make sense? So that's kind of how that's going to work. Now, you've probably seen this favorites bar. Sometimes with a client, there's certain things you're doing all the time, and you can just favorite it, right? You see that star, you can just do that. It's not going to let me because there's already 5 here because I limited it to 5. But every client can have their own favorites, right? Because they might have different problems. So let me, I'll go unfavorite something right now. What do we got here? like inventory master's favorite, I can unfavorite it and it will take it off of, well, I clicked it twice. There you go. Should take it. Yeah. See how it take it off the bar down there? And if I want to put the fixed asset manager on there, I can do that. And we'll add it to the favorites bar. And that way you can get to those anytime pretty easily. And if you don't like it, it's in the way, you just turn it off, right? So I'll turn it back on if you want to. All right. So back to, well, let's go to how do you put data into this, right? So it creates financial periods. And in the past, I built 6 software products. In the past, I've always done these integrations. And as soon as I do QuickBooks and the Xero people were mad. And as soon as I do Xero, then the FreshBooks people are mad. And then the Sage people get mad. It seems like I'm just always chasing a software. So I said, this time, there's a lot better way to do this where everybody can use it. And what I do is I just let you paste it in there or just upload whatever you got. I don't care what it is. It will even let you put a PDF or an image. Like I just got a picture of their financial statements. I can throw that in there, right? And it parses it. That's one of the cool things about AI now because it can read things a lot better. And you don't need the direct integrations as much. Now, integrations are awesome. But here, I'm trying to keep it open where if I got something in an inventory system or I got something in the payroll system, it doesn't matter. I can put it in here when it's needed, right? So it doesn't matter what they're using. So if I want to do multiple periods or a single period, I just click on it and I'll just kind of show you. I'm going to open up some financial statements. So and I'm going to share the desktop while I do that because I want you to see how this works. Share desktop. All right. So on the desktop, I got here's file, open recents, financial statements, more. We got here sample financial statements. There we go. Make that one. All right. So here's what I just got some sample financial statements, a balance sheet, and income statement. I'm just going to do this, right? And just copy those. Just copy it, right? So I've got all the columns and the rows for just the balance sheet. And I have headers of 20, 21, 22, 23, 24. And where is here? And what I'm going to do is just paste that in there. So here's the balance sheet. What we just copied, I just paste it. Then I'm going to come over here to the income statement and do the same thing. I want to see how the labels are the same. That's important because that's how it merges everything together. So there it is. I'm going to copy that. Put it in. The next thing you'll see is, hey, this is what we saw. And this stuff should match, what you just copied. And then you can say, well, is this right or is this not right? Because it's doing a pretty good job of organizing and mapping it. And once you set it, it will memorize it for that company. But if you want to change something, you can always change it to something else or ignore it. Nah, we don't want to use that. Some people on their balance sheet have restricted cash accounts that they don't want to include in their analysis, so that you can ignore certain accounts if you want to do it that way. All right. And so after I'm okay with it, it'll give me some, hey, this is negative, but it's supposed to be positive. I can fix that if I want to, or I can just leave it as is. It's just going to look at it and say, did this make sense? And then I can save and it will parse it, right? So all that stuff we just pasted in there, it will parse it and organize it into the fields that the whole product needs for analysis. You can just do that once. And it takes a couple of minutes for it to go through, but it's painless, right? And it doesn't matter what they give it to you in there. They got QuickBooks, they got Xero, it doesn't matter what that is. And what will happen is it will kind of give you a confirmation before it goes in. Now, what I'm expecting to happen is I think I already have these in here. So it may merge it to ones that are in there. That's what I'm hoping, because I think I already put this in this demo before. Questions on getting data into the product? Yeah, cool. Well, it always seems to go slower when it's oh, there it is. So now it's saying, hey, we detected these, right? Remember, so it did detect the right column headers, and that's what it's going to call the stuff. found 5 periods. Here's a quick check. Do those look like my, this is sales, 9 million, 9.6, yes. So you can do kind of a quick check if you want to, just to make sure that you feel comfortable with the data that got put in there. And it's going to create new periods for us, right? So I guess I didn't have that in there just yet. But I can go in there. It separated out all the operating expenses, because when you're doing cost analysis, and I'm going to show you that next, when you do cost analysis, this is where the information comes from. It took it right off of the income statement and separated it out for cost analysis. And does it look wrong? If it looks wrong, you can use AI. Hey, you missed a whole, account. You got these numbers wrong. You can use AI to correct what it parsed, right? So you don't have to repaste it. You just can correct it using AI right there on the spot. If you're saying, nope, everything is good, confirm and import, it will create the periods and put them in there for you, right? And then they're available for use throughout the product. What's your thoughts on putting data in? That's always people's big concern is, yeah, how easy is it to do that? But I used to just do everything for people in the background, but nobody felt comfortable because there wasn't enough confirmation steps. So now I show it a couple of times so you feel comfortable with what's going in there. And it will go in and create them. Takes a few minutes. Questions so far, but I'm going to show you what it looks like on the back side of this, and then show you that cost tool. And I think everybody on the call except for Scott is SBDC. I have a special SBDC program that is per center. It's called a center access program that I can share with you, offline. So don't look at the prices there, because it's different for the SBDC based on my partnership with them. Guess we put in too much data. Oh, there it is. So you'll notice, hey, this is missing the cash flow statement, right? Because that's what we did. We didn't put the cash flow statement in there. We just put the income statement in the balance sheet. Well, don't worry about it, because once you press finish and review, it will calculate the cash flow statement for you. Right? So when we do that, we can say, hey, I want you to calculate these. You're like, how to do that? Well, it has the income statement, the balance sheet. That's where the cash flow statement comes from. So I built in an automatic version of that. So I say, calculate all those balance sheets. Now, we had 4 periods or 5 periods, but it only created 4. Why? Because it always takes the period before. In the first year, 2020, we didn't have 2019. So remember, the cash flow statement is about changes over time. That's why it only created 4. So you won't have a cash flow statement for the first year. You'll have to enter it. So, and if there's problems, it will tell you that there's problems or not. And now we can start editing things if we want to, right? So if I go to edit a period, or I can remap the accounts, edit a period, I can redo it if I want to. You can just go ahead and repaste the same thing, and it will just change. It does the thing called upsert, which means update and insert. It doesn't delete anything. To view the statements, it's created a new version of the financial statements for you, right? So now you got the income statement. Instead of looking at it like this, you got the balance sheet and you got the cash flow statement, right? And if there's a problem with the cash flow statement, it's going to tell you what the problem is, right? And it's probably either a rounding issue, or it could be something that is missing from the balance sheet to make this work. Right? So it's going to show you all those type of things. All right. So I talked about the cost cutting tool. Everybody has these things like, we need to cut cost. Well, what I'm going to do is look at 2 different periods, right? We're going to look at 2 different periods. Those are both 24. Let me go to 23 here, right? 23 to the current period, 24, we'll say. And it's going to tell you, what the operating expense is, how many categories. You can save a plan once you set your cost cutting plan. You can save that. It's saying, hey, you need to cut $316 or $316,000. But it also can pull from other places, like if you just want to reduce debt by 5%, you can do that. I can set a custom amount, or I can use Mining Your Business for Hidden Cash, and it pulls that number from that calculation. It puts that in there for you. This next one is about, where is the money? Where did you make spending changes? If it's green, and negative, that means you reduced in that category over that time period. If it's red, you increased. These are the things that went up over that same time period. So it's like trend analysis for the actual operating expense. Then what I do to help people make cost-cutting decisions. Are you guys familiar with the lean business canvas model? All right, so there's two things on there that I use to justify cuts. One is called key activities, the other one's called key resources. And the way I frame that is saying, let's just pretend we have a lemonade stand. Could we have a lemonade stand if we didn't have lemons? No. Well, that's a key resource, right? Could we have a lemonade stand if we didn't have an umbrella? Yeah, it may be uncomfortable, but we could still sell lemonade without an umbrella. I see kids do it all the time. So that's the lemonade stand test is could we do this without? Could we still have a business if we didn't have this thing, right? So how does it go there? Well, what we do is we actually go through and review it, right? To determine whether or not that's a strategic thing. So let's look at, I don't know, we'll just say repair and maintenance. Here's how I get people to make decisions on what to cut and what not to cut. I say, do you need it? You guys tell me the answer. I don't know. Just, do you need it? Repair and maintenance. You need a budget for that? Probably. What key resource does it support? Oh, that's my physical assets. Can you afford it? We'll say no, I can't really afford it. We'll just say it just to see what the recommendation is. Okay, well, we need to cut it. Yeah, you need it, but you can't afford it, so you should cut it. But then this is where you can say they would argue, right? Client would argue, no, I got to have some repair and maintenance budget because I've got this piece of equipment that generates all our revenue, right? They have a reason. Well, what you can do is say, okay, well, need some. The rock crusher. So whatever they say, you just put it in there and say, okay, let's see what this does, the AI recommendation. And say, oh, yeah, you should keep it then, right? So when you put the things in there, we're talking to AI to say, okay, just based on your answers, we should cut it. But you have a valid reason to keep it because one of the things I've trained this on is that we shouldn't cut, the expenses that actually drive our revenue, right? So we'd have to find something else. And I would do a save classification or a key resource activity as marketing and sales. And I could save that and it will change the classification to strategic and not non-strategic, right? And what it does for, when it does recommendations of cuts, it will not cut strategic resources, right? Or strategic things. But if I want to, I can go mark something for reduction, 10, 20, if we're going to mark it for reduction, it starts to create a plan for you. Every single line item, it has considerations, reduction strategies for it, warning signs. It gives you information about that. This isn't generic for all operating expenses. This is tied to the actual item that they have it listed as. And then if you get stuck, remember, I don't want you to feel like it's almost helpful. I got some questions already listed for you. Well, if you get stuck, you don't know what to do, ask them one of these questions, right? So it kind of keeps the conversation moving. Now, let's say I want to cut it by 50%. I can mark it for reduction. And now all of a sudden I have a progress bar that says, okay, we found $38. We still need 278 more to go. Let's keep doing it. And you can send your client, some homework, create an action item for them, right? Hey, you gotta either find 278 more, or when I create the action item, it's going to create an action item of all my cut, all the stuff we said we're going to cut. It puts it on their to-do list to go actually cut it, right? Just by you saying it doesn't make it happen. You got to go do it. And it creates an action plan on their action board. So I think I've built the ultimate advisor platform, right? That's what I think I built. What do you think? All right. Is there anything? Oh, I want to share. Oh, go ahead.
That was me, Mike. I was going to tell you about the question in the chat about the cost per training.
The question, oh, cost. Yeah. So for the SBDCs, I have center price, and the
Hey,
reason why,
Mike.
yeah.
Hey, Mike, I dropped the link for that in there. And Tyler asked, does the $150 a year cost per consultant cost include training for the SBDC consultants, or is it separate cost for that? You might explain that they get access to the coursework that can help with that, and then expand on that a little bit.
Yeah, so what you get is the regular membership, right? So you don't get additional webinars and stuff for you, right? So if you want me to come train, there or do a virtual training, that's different. But you can attend all the live events that we have for the training or the live coaching, and you get access to all the video courses for that price. But yeah, there's a per person and there's a center price, right? The center price kind of pays for the AI stuff, and then the per person is just kind of a user license seat, and that. The reason why I got the per person for SBDCs is because some people have 4 advisors, some people have 25, some people have 2, right? So the per person makes it fair for every center, no matter the size. And if that's what you're kind of wanting to do, if you want to do that, just contact me and I'll make sure it gets set up properly, and walk you through the onboarding. Anything else? Any other questions? I might give you 4 minutes of your life back. If you did want to see, I guess one of the things I didn't show you is because of the membership, is that on the Advisor Hub here, up top is these membership resources, right? So one is the office hours, which is the calendar of all the times that I'm available for these things. And you can just subscribe to the calendar and put it on yours and jump in whenever you need it, right? If you want to know more about, if you don't like maybe you want to see what's happening this week, you can do that. If I click on just one of them, click on one of them. Oh, it does it on mine. It doesn't do it on yours. It's down here for yours. On mine, I can click it and edit the details over here. But the Zoom meeting link is already here. If you don't want all of them, you just want individual ones, you can add them as individual or join the meeting from this thing here with a little bit of a should be, yeah, it opens up Zoom when you do that. So it goes right to the meeting. That's one thing. And then the membership resources for the courses, they look like this, right? So you click on video courses. And there it is. So it's going to open up your dashboard that's on the Cashflow Mike site. That's where the courses are. The app's kind of separate, but this navigates you to where the courses are. You're like, okay, phase 1, I want to look at that. And phase 1 is the actual core clear path to cash system. That's all the things, right? All the techniques. And if I click on that, there's probably 100 plus videos in this whole thing, all geared towards specific situations. Like maybe I just want to know mining your business for hidden cash. I'll click on that. It will open up the actual course. And there you go. You still got all your courses here. You got the videos. Underneath every video, there's these files that you can download. So when you get this thing, you'll have 1,000 other things that come with it. All the, because some people want to know what is the math behind it. So I just give you the spreadsheet that I built before I built the app, right? So you got both. All right. I see lots of things in chat, but can you enlarge your screen a bit? Was that I didn't do that, did I? What was you want to look at, Karen? I'm not good at following chats. All right. Okay.
There was when you were doing you had the double windows open and stuff, and you were going back and forth, but that's fine. I just wanted to see. I noticed that what you were showing us is mostly for either people who are manufacturing or who have product. We see a lot of service provider businesses who, was trying to figure out how would be able to use some of that, because a lot of times they're coming, again, small businesses, they're coming or they're new or they're trying to start something. And we're trying to help them do, projections and things like that. if they're doing service, whether it be janitorial, whether it be consulting, whether it be psychological, counseling or something like that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Professional businesses start just opening. So, yeah.
Yeah. So when yeah, I just showed it because that's what the demo company set up for. But I mean, I ran service companies, right? So that's kind of the one thing that I was pretty good at. So a lot of it's built into here. And one of the things I've got is this costing bid calculator that I help service companies with, right? So not only is it just for helping you with your bids, but is it a project? Is this a service? Are you manufacturing? What are you doing here, right? And it has a materials catalog. So you can, if like maybe I'm a plumber and I have materials, I need flappers and I need toilet seats and I need all this type of stuff, but I charge as a package, like going toilet replacement, right? So I've got my time and then I got my little parts and stuff that I use. Or maybe it's a cleaning company where maybe I'm putting together a bid for a cleaning company, but I got to have something for cleaning materials, right? Not just the time. So I've got materials are different than inventory. Inventory is what I sell directly to the public. Materials is what I put into my service, right? Like maybe I'm building a deck or something like that. And then I got my labor and my staff, so I can just say, well, I need 35 of these, 24 of those, 15 of those. And that's 2 hours there. That's 5 hours. That's 1 hour. And whatever overhead percentage that you use, let's say I want 10% for overhead and I'm trying to get 20% markup. So I should be bidding it at about $5,000, whatever this is, this service, or was charging $25,000. And it kind of shows me. And then if I want to improve it, I can improve it. And I think, yeah. So, and then you could save that as a bid template. You could save it. And so you don't have to redo it over and over and over again if you're trying to keep it. But if you do this and you save your bids, I also have this thing called a bid history and analytics that help you track outcomes. So you can even upload competitors' bids in here and say, why did I lose that one? Right. And it's going to analyze the difference between you and what you might have lost it for if you can get that information. I used to ask people, say, hey, what they charge? How they do that? Can I see? Because I'm trying to build a business and, kind of just see how they did theirs. So I'm not asking you for the business. I'm not changing my price, but can I see it? And people would give me the information. I'd go back and readjust my bid process because of that. So yeah, it'll tell you, hey, when you're losing because your price is higher, right? And it just does your bids over time. It gives you analytics about how you bid versus others. All right. Let's see, anything else in here that's kind of cool? I do like the fixed asset manager because it helps you understand when you should replace something, right? A lot of people don't keep up with that, but it's going to show you your useful life and repair and maintenance costs, but it helps you and it gives you the fixed asset list if you're ever trying to sell it, right? Hey, here's what I have and here's where we're at in the depreciation schedules and all that, keeps track of it for you. And this is connected to the forecasting module as well. And if you have a loan attached to it, it attaches it to the loan as well, that asset. So there is a ton there, right? But I don't want you to look at it like it's overwhelming. I want you to look at it like it's a smartphone. I have this problem with this client right now, so there's a tool in there for that.
Mike, please. My smartphone is overwhelming for me at times, okay?
Yeah, I have way too many. I'm like going every once in a while I'll go delete some, and all it does is free up more space. Every time there's a void, there's a vacuum, right? It pulls more apps into it. Yeah, there you go. You're definitely on it. All right. Anything else I can do to make your life easier? All right.
This has been great.
All right. So if you guys are, when you're ready to get started, just let me know and we'll do that. Because I think some of the SBDCs I have to go through a vendor process or something like that. So just let me know and I'll get you everything you need.
Thank you.
All right, y'all. Appreciate you. Thank you.
You finally found the tool that makes the financials easy to explain. The dashboard is clean. It looks solid. This is the meeting you walked into feeling ready. Then comes the question, how does the loan actually get paid down? That's the moment you realize your new dashboard was almost helpful.